Students, we are going to talk about how to build a simple maze game using Wick or the Wick editor that we've been using in class. And the maze game that we're going to make is going to be one of those types of maze games where if you accidentally touch the walls of the maze, it sends you back to the first level. Okay, so it's a simple mouse maze game. Okay, so here we are at wickeditor.com. We're going to click Launch Web Editor. Okay, I'm going to click right here. It says try it. I'm going to delete this. Now, if you have previously saved work that you're working on, you would hit load. For my purposes here, I'm going to click delete and start fresh. Okay, now there is a rubric for this that you're going to have to check out. Now, I'm looking right here. I need to have 5 different slides. Okay, so I am going to go here to the timeline. I'm going to click the plus. It's 2, it's 3, it's 4, that is 5. Okay, so this is what I'm required to do in the rubric. You are going to have a title screen and a you won the game slide. Okay, so that is going to be title slide is here on slide 1, and then you won the game on slide 5. Okay. And then for slides 2, 3, and 4, that is going to be the different levels of your maze game. Okay. Now, some good best practices for creating your maze game. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my square tool or rectangle tool rather, and I'm going to create some shapes just to make my background pop a little bit. And I'm going to get this green right here, and I'm going to make a rectangle, and I'm just going to cover up the boring white background. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go frame 2. I'm going to get me another color that is vibrant and delicious, and I'm going to click right here and make it magenta. Ooh, nice. Go to slide 3. Give me another color here. I'm going to do this one right here. Nice light blue. Okay, that is the second one, the second of the maze levels. Okay, and we'll go here, get me another random color. Maybe I'll get me some purple, and I'll put that in there. Okay, I got one left. I got slide 5. This will be the U1 page. I am going to do maybe, let's see, I'll do this bluish color right here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, now if you go scroll through the timeline with the slider here, you'll see that you got a bunch of different colors. Oh, that's so nice. Now if I press play, you're going to find out that it is seizure inducing and each of the frames will not stop. Okay, so we got to fix that. So okay, so how do I fix that? Well, to stop the frames from playing, you need to add a stop action, is what they used to call it. Okay, and we're going to do that right here. I'm going to click on this. Okay, now I'm going to go click here where it says default. I'm going to click timeline. I'm going to go click on where it says stop. Alright, so let's see if that does it. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, I know that I did it right. I have a little orange dot. I'm going to click default, timeline, and stop. I'm going to close it. I got the orange dots. I'll click on my slide here on the green button, click default, timeline, and stop. Boom, got the orange dot. Okay, click the slide 4, click default, timeline, and stop. Boom. Okay, one more to go. Slide 5, default, timeline, and stop. Boom. Okay, now I've got orange dots on each of my 5 frames. So once I drag my time slider here, if I go, I'm going to drag it to its time slider to frame 1. I'm going to click play. All those frames are stopping. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm on slide 1. I'm going to go here and I'm going to write in my text, I'm going to write Mr. Medder's increasingly difficult maze game. Don't touch the sides. Okay, so that is my player directions They're gonna know, don't touch the sides. I am going to click and drag and make this bigger. Alternatively, you could do font size over here. You could do like 30. Okay, that changes it too. I don't quite want to go that big, so I'm going to drop it down here. Okay. Alright, looks pretty good, pretty good. Okay, now that is slide 1. It says Mr. Metter's increasingly difficult maze game. Don't touch the sides. So if you look at the rubric here, you got some player directions that we put in there. That is definitely part of the rubric, so make sure you got that. Okay. Well, one of the next things we need to do, we go to the asset library here and get one of the built-in assets here, the click me button. Okay. Alright, so I clicked it, and I have this. It says button.wick obj. The obj stands for objects. I'm going to drag it out over here onto the frame, and I'm going to size this down, and I'm going to make it like that. Okay. So okay, I am going to add some code to this. Now I need to scroll down right here. Now watch what happens when I click on this. I'm going to click the click me button. Click. I clicked it. Okay, now by default it has a little thing here that says mouse click. We are going to edit the code in there. Okay, so it says blah blah blah, add some code here. I'm going to click enter and go to the next line, and I'm going to click timeline, and I'm going to click go to and stop. Now we want to go to frame number 2 because we are on frame number 1. I'll close that out. Okay, now I'm going to press play and test it. Okay, boom. Okay, moved on to frame number 2. Terrific. Okay. Okay. One of the things we're going to do now, we're going to go up here to the eraser tool. Okay. Now, when thinking about your maze, we are going to do some erasing first. Okay, and that is when we erase, we're going to make the actual maze using the eraser. That's kind of a weird idea. Just go with it. Okay. Now, one important thing here is to use the onion skinning button too. That's going to help you see what's underneath or the frame before. Okay. Now, my size of my eraser is right here. I'm going to bump it up to maybe like 30. Okay. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to erase a little area here. Okay. Now, you see how I can see the click me button underneath? That is a good thing. Okay. We want to start this way. We want to have a little area here for the user to land in the next level here after they click the click me button. Okay. So I'm going to turn onion skinning off. Okay, so here I go. I've got this little area here. Okay. Now I might decide to make it pretty easy for my player here, and I might dial up, since this is level 1, I'm going to dial this up to like 70. Okay. So I am going to make a little maze for the player to get into, and they'll have to go to. Now, something to think about, you do not want to go out to the side, okay, because the player will be able to cheat. Okay, so you need to keep your little maze area, like, do not touch the sides right here. Okay, so that looks good. There are no points where it touches the wall. Okay, I'm going to get my selection tool. Okay, the cursor rather, and I'm going to just select the whole thing right here. Okay, now while I've got it selected, I'm going to click make button. So that's kind of a weird idea. We're going to take this background that we erased and we're going to turn it into a button. I'm going to click make button. Boop. Okay, so I made it a button. Now by default it has right here mouse click attached to it. We are going to delete that. It says, are you sure you want to delete mouse click from the object? We're going to say yeah. Okay. Then we're going to go back in while this is still selected. Notice that it is still selected, and I'm going to add a script. And I want to choose mouse hover. Okay. So what did we do? We deleted the one that it was there before, mouse click, and we have created mouse hover. Okay, so we're going to click right here as its timeline, and we are going to put go to and stop frame number 1. So what is that going to do? Well, it is going to send them back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. All right, so I'm going to drag my time slider here to frame 1. I'm going to press play. I'm going to click me. Okay, notice how I landed in the open area. That is exactly what I wanted to be able to happen. So I don't want to immediately sabotage the player by landing in a weird spot. Okay, so now I'm going to try to make my way through the maze, and oop, I hit the side, and guess what happened, guys? When I hit the side, it sent me back to frame number 1. Okay, so the way that that was achieved was we did this little thing, mouse hover, and we put go to and stop. Okay, so what that does is when the player touches the wall, it shoots them back to the first frame. This is in essence what we're doing to make our easy maze game. Okay, alright, so we got this set up correctly. We're doing pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to go back here to my asset library, and I want to put a button for them to get to the advance to the next level here. Okay, now we want to leave that button as is. We're going to do mouse click right here, and then I'm going to just drop down to the next line. I'm going to click timeline, go to and stop. We are on frame number 2, so we're going to go to frame number 3, and then I'm going to click close that out. Okay, so let's go back to frame number 1. Let's test it out. Play, click me. Okay, now I'm going to try to get my way through the maze without touching the wall. Oh lordy, I'm nervous. Okay, and I'm going to click me. Now we're on frame 2. If I coded this correctly, it will go to frame number 3. Haha, there we go. Alright, so we have landed on frame number 3. This is the second level of our maze. Now if you remember, we have to get increasingly more difficult. Okay, so I'm here. I have my cursor tool selected. I'm going to select the blue rectangle that we created earlier. Okay, and I'm going to also get my eraser tool. Okay, I want to turn on onion skinning so I can see things underneath. Now you'll know onion skinning is on because you'll see those little wings come out from the time slider here. Okay, I am going to try to kind of eyeball the area where I think the click me button is, and I think it is right about here. Alright, okay, so I got my little eraser tool here. Again, you don't want to give the player an advantage to get out and cheat, so don't touch the sides. Okay, so I'm going to turn onion skinning off, and there it see how I can, when I toggle onion skinning on and off, I can see the click me button. Okay, so I have a little hole for the player to go through when they land there. Okay, I'm going to shrink this down. We're going to get a little bit more difficult. I might do 25 here. Okay, so I am going to do some zigzags here, and I'll let them off easy and have a nice big ending right here. Okay, I'm going to get my selection tool. I'm going to select this. I'm going to click make a button. I'm going to delete the default mouse click script right there. It says, well, do you want to delete that? I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to add a script, and again we're going to choose mouse hover, and for the timeline we're going to do go to and stop. Now instead of sending them to number 1, we're just going to send them backwards. Actually, you know what, let's send them back to number 1. They'll have to completely start over, so we'll just leave it go to and stop number 1. They got to start the whole thing over, so I'm going to close that out. Okay, so now the other thing, we're going to get the other button here. Actually, I'm going to get my selection, my cursor tool, just select right there. I'm going to drag this button right here into there. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to put it in this area right here. Okay, and I'm going to just select it and make sure I click right here where it says mouse click, and I am going to drop down to the second line. I'm going to go to and stop. We're on frame number 3. We want that click me button to go to frame number 4. I'm going to close that. Okay, so let's take it from the top. Here we go. Click me. I'm gonna try to make my way through the maze without touching this. Oh, shoot. I did it. I'm making my game too hard. I can't even play it. I'm such a noob. Alright, here we go. Click me. I landed in a good spot. I thought about ahead of time a place for the player to get through. Okay. It's increasingly more difficult. The wall is a little bit more thin. Let's see if I can get through here. Okay, now I made it to the end zone here. I'm on frame number 3. If I coded this right, it is going to go to frame number 4. And it did. It went to frame number 4. Okay. Alright, so we coded that correctly. We landed on frame number 4. We're going to repeat the process that we've been doing. Okay. I am going to click onion skinning here. I got my eraser tool going here. I'm going to see if I can find it. Okay, I found it. I'm going to make a little pocket to land in here. Now this is level 3. This needs to be the hardest level, so I'm going to dial this down to 15. Okay, and I'm going to make a real kind of snaky thing here. Oops. I went out and I touched the sides. You catch what I did wrong? I touched the edge there. So I'm just going to undo using Control Z. Okay. Maybe what we do is we do a little swirl here. And we'll let them off easy here at the end. Maybe what we do here is they have a little area that they land in right there. Okay. I'm going to turn onion skinning off. This is what it looks like. I'm going to get my selection tool. I'm going to click this. I'm going to click right here. It says make a button. I'm going to make it a button. Now by default it has this thing right here. It says mouse click. I'm going to delete that. It says are you sure? We're going to delete it. And then we're going to add a script. Notice that it's still selected. I'm going to add a script. I'm going to choose mouse hover. Okay. So I'm going to do timeline, go to and stop. I'm going to choose I'm just going to leave it at frame number 1. So if they touch the sides and hover over the sides, it will go to and stop at frame number 1. Okay. Alright, so let's go to frame 3. Oops. I kicked myself out of my own level there. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so I'm in. I'm going to click me. Now, if I touch the walls, I'll go back to the beginning. Okay. Alright, so let's see. That's working. So I'm going to get here and I'm going to get my button here, the click me button. I'm going to drag it back out. And I'm going to put this right here for them to click on. Okay. Now by default it has mouse click. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to drop down to the next layer and go to timeline, go to and stop. Now we want this to be frame number 5. So when the player clicks right here, it's going to go to the end. Okay. Alright, so now we are on frame number 5. We are going to right up here. Let me get some bright yellow. I think I'm going to do, or no, that magenta is fine. And I'm just going to congratulate the player and tell them that they won. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put this click me button here. And where do you think that's going to go? Yep, it's going to go to frame number 1. So we're going to timeline, go to and stop, frame number 1. Okay. Alright, so should have everything going here. Okay. So let's take it from the top. Mr. Miller's increasingly difficult maze game. Don't touch the sides. Got some player directions. Click me. Goes to frame number 2. I gotta work my way through this first level. It's a nice easy level. The walls are nice and spacious. I go here to click me button. It's frame 2. I'm gonna click it. It's gonna send me to frame 3. I land in a nice little pocket right here. It doesn't automatically put me in a spot that makes me go back to frame number 1. This level is a little bit more difficult than the last. That's a good thing. I'm gonna work. Oh, Mr. Metter. Alright, so I'm gonna work my way through frame number. level number 1 here. I landed in a good spot, and I'm going to see if I can make my way through this slightly more difficult maze level. Okay, this is so far so good. Okay, here we go. I got on to the click me button here. I'm on frame number 3. This is level 2. I'm on frame 3. I'm going to click me. It's going to go to frame number 4. Boom. I land in a nice little pocket here on frame number 4, and it is even more difficult than the last. This is the final and most difficult level. Oh, it sucks. That's so hard. Let's see if I can do it. To delete. Oh, dead again. Oh my goodness, I'm praying, dear Jesus, let me get through this maze. I have done this thing like 4 times. You don't know because I edited it out. What you think about is the player experience. You want it to be challenging, but you don't want it to be so hard that they rage quit. Okay. Oh Lord, say a prayer, guys. On the home, I'm so close. I'm on the home stretch. Oh Lordy. Oh, got close right there. Oh Jeezies. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my gosh, I played that like 3 times. Okay, here I go. I'm on frame number 4. I'm gonna click me, and I go to frame number 5. It says congratulations, you won. I'm gonna click the click me button. Boom, it goes back to the beginning, and the player can play again. Okay, so be sure to read your rubric on this. It's pretty cool putting this together. I think you'll have fun with it. Share it with your people in the class who you're friends with and see if they like it. And good luck and have fun.